Welcome into Jags A.M. this morning. I'm Kainani Stevens, Brian Sexton, John Oehser with me today. We're coming to you from the UK as the Jaguars had their first game in the UK. They're going to play again here at Wembley Stadium on Sunday. And no way to sugarcoat it, a very tough loss against the Bears on Sunday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're going to start out with our big things. And number one big thing was drop-off. We saw some drops. This team has dealt with drops throughout the season from receivers. Trevor Lawrence talked about that issue, but said more than anything, this team needs to learn how to bounce back.
It's a long game. I think as a team, we can't be so fragile. It's not going to go perfect every week. Most weeks aren't going to go perfect. You're going to have to sometimes dig yourself out of a hole. We got down in the second quarter and had an opportunity to come out at halftime and didn't take advantage of it. So, no, I don't think that was – obviously, you look back, every play matters, and we had plenty of mistakes. But, no, I don't think that was a huge momentum shift. Obviously, you'd love to make it, but, no, it's on all of us.
Brian, Trevor Lawrence was talking there specifically about Gabe Davis's drop in the end zone on that first possession for the Jaguars where things were going well. They had to settle for a field goal, went downhill from there. I agree with Trevor in the sense that I don't think it was that play alone, but they cannot find a way to bounce back when they make some of these mistakes.
Well, he's been preaching what I've been saying. And the lack of resilience here is just crushing. I don't know whether he said it or whether it was Doug that said it yesterday after the game, John, but the fragility is a problem. And I do think that was a huge play. And I get it that there were many more plays there. But I think I would have thrown my helmet if I were Trevor in disgust. Because he put that ball, if you recall, John, on 1st and goal from the 8-yard line, Gabe jumps off sides. So now it's 1st and goal from the 13. They overcome it. And on 3rd down and goal, he puts the ball right on the numbers, and the $14 million wide receiver drops it. So if Trevor's not going to be disgusted, at least I am.
Yeah.
Catch the ball, right? Give this team a chance to win. The owner, the fans, everybody's out there and put a lot of time and money and effort into this thing. And the coach kept saying, well, these guys have too. Well, prove it. Catch the damn ball.
Yeah, it shouldn't have cost him the game, and it didn't cost him the game. But you had a chance, right? It's a league of plays and playmakers. And in that moment, you're in the red zone. You have a chance to, you're not supposed to get a touchdown on 3rd and 12. In that situation, that's hard. But the quarterback puts the ball in the right spot, and Trevor definitely was the one who said it because he said it over and over again in his presser. This team is fragile. I don't know why they're fragile, but for the last 12 games, they haven't made that play in that situation. And guys, didn't you get the feeling when it hit 7-3? They wouldn't win it.
It was out of hand
because they didn't. The Bears were running. It looked like that. But they haven't shown at all in the last 3 months of season like they're going to come back from 4 points down, and that shouldn't be that way.
Kai, I know that Trevor says that his personality is not such to get in guys' faces, right? And he's got to lead his own way. He's not going to be able to change himself too dramatically. At least he doesn't believe that he can. But until we stop hearing after the game, well, they're not going to catch every ball, right? Guys are going to make mistakes. Until we start hearing you can't make that mistake. Right? The edge that this team is not playing with, that it needs to play with to overcome the mistakes, is never just going to magically materialize. Somebody is going to have to pull it forward by saying, not throwing to you again. Right? Someone's going to have to take dramatic measures so that somebody goes, oh, hell, I better not drop that ball again.
Unfortunately, if you say that, though, you'd have to say it to about 3 or 4 people yesterday because it wasn't just Gabe Davis. There was a lot of drops and mistakes. We'll go to big thing number 2, which was too many. There were too many men on the field at one point on a drive where they had too many penalties, 3 third downs that they could have gotten themselves off the field. The defense had penalties. Doug Peterson talked about that after the game.
Yeah, those are penalties that really hurt. Again, it's the guys are taking nothing away from the players. They're playing hard, right? They're putting everything out on the field. And we keep talking. We keep showing them. we had the 12 men on the field, and that's was substitution change. I mean, it's something, I put that one on us as coaches. That's on us, So everybody has a piece of this. It's not just coaching, not just player. It's all of us.
John, there's a lot of frustration with this team right now. This is the one that gets me. It's the penalties. It's the self-inflicted, undisciplined mistakes. Because yes, there'll be drops. Yes, there'll be misplays. But those things are those should not ever be an issue. Once you get past high school, you should not be making the kind of mistakes that they're making in the most crucial times.
Well, look, Doug just then showed it. He showed it on the conference call when he talked today. I don't know what there is to say. And he'll be asked a question, and he'll kind of pause because he's trying to figure out what he's supposed to say. And I think the answer is, I don't know. I mean, at some point, the mistakes that are being made, how do you coach not to hold in that situation? How do you coach? Now the 12 men on the field thing, that is
Coaching.
Because the coaches are telling the players which ones to go in. That's a disorganization on the sidelines. That hasn't been a season-long thing, But in that moment, it happened. If I'm the Bears on that drive, right? And Brian, I know you wrote about it. I wrote about it. Kai wrote about it. The game is teetering again. It's an 11-point game, and Trayvon gets a big-time sack, and he gets taken away. Third down, a hold. Later on, another third down, a hold. If I'm the Bears this morning, I'm laughing at that and saying, well, at some point we're going to go ahead and score because we tried not to 5 times, and they gave them points there, and it really it defined this season in a lot of ways. And at 1-5, they're a bad team, and that was really bad football for a drive. In a game of bad football, Brian.
Can you zoom in? Just the look of disgust on my face should say it all. I can't add anything else except to say that was a moment where you could have, remarkably, even after the way that I'm so fired up today, the second half started, right? And you're down 14-3, you're still in the game. Remarkably, you're down 21-3, and Trevor gets you back to a position where you have a little bit of momentum. And then Trayvon Walker comes through with a huge play. In fact, the Jaguars got 2 sacks in 3 plays from the front 4.
Yeah, they had taken back control.
Yeah.
Right.
They were right there. And then it's almost as if you said, you know what? This is what we do. And that's the problem. This is what this team does. It drops the ball. It makes a mistake. I don't care who's to blame on this. And I get it. Doug's got to be calm in that situation post-game. It doesn't do any good. But there better be a huge burning flame inside. Somebody better hear the wrath of that when they get back on the practice field. Because, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in Hot Takes, the way that they're coaching millennials these days, and Doug referred to that the week of the Colts game when he was asked about Tom Coughlin's style. Hell, it ain't working here right now. So maybe there has to be a little bit more edge from the coaches to get the edge out of the players. I may be oversimplifying it, but John, and you said it, what else is he supposed to say? It isn't what he says now, it's how he says it, I think.
The problem with that drive, it was awful. It cost him the game.
It's terrible.
And it was almost mind-blowingly bad, and it didn't surprise you.
It didn't, and I think that's the most frustrating part.
I didn't expect that, and I don't like saying it, but that's I wasn't surprised when the Bears scored on that drive, even though the weird thing had happened, because it fits what they've done all year.
Our final big thing today is going to be blame game, because I think at this point it is not just one issue. We've talked about this for weeks now at this point. It's front office, it's coaching, it's players not making plays. Brian, when you look at this, when it feels like it's every little part of it, how do you kind of fix it when you're in the midst of it?
When you're in the midst of it, you really have to dial your focus in here and be laser focused on the Patriots, because you can't go back and change what happened yesterday, and you can't start thinking about the Packers and the Eagles and the Vikings that are coming up in the weeks ahead. You've got to get your team absolutely dialed in, and that's the scenario you're in here, at the Grove outside London. Players, no family. You're going to have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it has to be all about ball. All about ball. And, John, the way that these players probably feel, if we are frustrated by what we're seeing, what many of them are enduring is probably very, very similar. So it shouldn't be that difficult to get these guys to go beyond the regular workday and to be focused in the film room, on their iPads, whatever it takes to get more this week when you can get more. Because when you get home next week, you're falling right back into hey, they leave the building at 4:30 and then you don't have the opportunity to necessarily get more. So you better get more right now.
Yeah, and out of the blame game, look, when you're 1-5, everything gets blamed. Everybody's at fault. It's like Doug said after the game, and Trevor. Look, there's plenty to go around. What do? You focus on the Patriots and you try to go win. That's the nice thing. The NFL sort of forces you to, even if you know it's going bad as a player and a coach, there is an element on Wednesday morning. Well, what are we going to do about it? Yeah. We're getting paid to go do this. May as well go do the best we can. Yeah.
And you got
I'm at a loss, and I think everybody is.
And you got 11 more. 11
whether you
more.
like it or not.
Not 3 more to finish. You've got 11 more. You want to feel this way on 11 more Mondays? You don't. So the focus had better be on not. Sometimes when you focus, you're focusing on what you don't want, right? As much as what you do, you're going to focus on winning because you don't want the losing.
Don't want to lose.
You don't want to feel that.
All right, coming back on Jags A.M. after the break, we're going to look at the tape because we talk about it all the time. You got to go back and look at it and see where they can fix things.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Chelsea here. Another month and another high utility bill. Those old windows and doors might be the culprit, letting valuable energy escape. At Renewal by Andersen, our energy-efficient windows and doors have the latest advanced technology, keeping your home comfortable all year round. Renewal by Andersen has a limited-time offer. Buy 4 windows and/or patio doors and get the 5th one free. Plus, enjoy 0 money down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Some restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for all the details. License number CGC 1527613.
Calling all loyal Jags fans and loyal Gate customers, football is back. And you and 3 friends could win a chance to meet Trevor Lawrence. Entering is easy. Just buy any 5 28-ounce Gatorade or Gatorade Zero products at Gate with your MyGate Rewards app, and you'll be automatically entered. Not a MyGate Rewards member? Download the app and sign up today. See store for details. Alternate entry available at GatoradePromos.com/TLaw.
The 2024 season is Pawsome. Register your pet for the Four-Legged Fan Club, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes, with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners, and the chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit Jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more, or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguar season at Firehouse Subs. Receive 50% off on any sub when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Download the Firehouse Subs app for offer details. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available in the Firehouse Subs app.
Jags fans, register your furry friend for the Jaguars official four-legged fan club for pets presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the 2024 season. Visit jaguars.com/promotion/four-legged fan club to sign up today.
Defeated, obviously. I feel for the players and the coaches. We work extremely too hard, to be in this position. I feel like the guys are, they don't quit. They keep fighting. We got to figure out how to just get out of our way.
Feeling defeated after that one, the Jaguars fall to 1-5. We're going to look at the tape because some of it frustrating to watch after the fact, but let's talk a little bit about what we're exactly seeing out there. As we discussed that first drive of the game, the offense looked okay driving down the field until we get to the red zone, which has been a huge issue for them. 2 false start penalties, and then the drop. It felt like that was the little bit of the beginning to unravel, because when you see these communication issues that we've talked about being a problem, and it's a repeated problem, it's never just a one-off. It's 2 times in the same drive and then a drop. It's multiplying upon itself.
In this case, though, I thought the Jaguars were up to it on Sunday at Tottenham because they overcame it. They overcame Strange, and then they overcame Davis, and they put the ball in the end zone in the receiver's hands. I thought as they were driving down the field, in fact, I was sitting next to you and I mentioned, looks like they've got something here today. And then the ball hits the ground and it's only 3-0, and well, that's how it ended.
Yeah, it was a nice drive, and like I said, it's hard to score in the red zone on 3rd and long. I mean, and this was a nice pass, a nice play. He got open, and it was. Yeah, we've talked about it.
We have.
Yes. All right.
And I'm laughing because it happens every week. So what are you going to say?
All right, let's talk a little bit about the defense. We know the secondary's been an issue. We saw the Bears able to kind of convert early on 3rd down, get that first touchdown. Kmet had 2 touchdowns in the game. But with the defense, at this point, we thought the first couple of games they were doing all right. It's been not that since then. And is it lack of effort at this point? We know they're dealing with injuries, but some of the stuff, it doesn't look like there's a ton of effort on the back end.
Well, usually on stuff like this, when it goes this bad, it's not the guys aren't trying, it's that they're not staying within the defense. And you go and you're trying to make a play, and everybody says it's effort. Yes, there were a couple of plays that did look like a lack of effort. But for the most part, it's going off on your own because you're not believing that what is being asked of you is enough. And it's usually the problem when you get to about 1-4, 1-5, is you play a little bit of hero ball and try to do it yourself. And it's not a thing, Brian, where the players are trying to do the wrong thing.
No.
They're trying to do too much, and they're not staying within what they're supposed to do. And it's always the case, in my experience, with a team that's going bad.
It is certainly the case with this team right now. You can see it on the defense. I've even heard on the offense guys are trying to do too much, and there are situations where they're not where they're supposed to be. This is where the focus that we talked about has got to get dialed in. The coaches have got to get these guys all on the same page so that when the quarterback hits his bat foot, everyone's where they're supposed to be. So when the defense is lined up and the middle linebackers got everybody with their assignment, they know what they're supposed to do. They've got to get back to doing what they do, right? What this team can count on. And right now, even the things that it can count on, Kai, have not been dependable.
They got their first defensive turnover of the season, which is far too late in season beginning, but Andre Cisco had an interception. I think at that point I was like, oh my God, that was a little bit of like their head was above water for a second there. And Andre Cisco, talking to Brent Martineau after the game at Action Jack, said he felt like some of his teammates weren't, they were kind of quitting at the end there. He saw quit in the team. How do you fix that when we are but 6 games into this thing?
Yeah, well, again, I don't know that quitting is necessarily the issue as much as not
doing what
playing
is being asked.
hard within the dynamic of how you're supposed to play. Are there moments in the second half of a game like that where it's over, that your preparation has not done what it was supposed to do, where you let down on a play, human emotion comes in. Yes, you do see that. Overall, do I think this is a team that has quit? No. But I do think the reality is, the Jaguars rolled them in the first quarter. And then the Bears came back and rolled them after that. The Bears adjusted. And what I'm going to say is not that the Jaguars didn't try to adjust, but my experience is the Bears came out, and when a team comes out and says, oh, this team's doing this to us, the Bears adjusted back, and the Jaguars didn't have an answer, it means the Bears are better than the Jaguars. And they didn't have an answer because they're better. And if that's not true, if that's not what's happening, then the Jaguars need to prove that statement wrong.
We're going to find out what the players think. I mean, because Andre Cisco was willing to go on record and say what he thought, guys have been called out. Even if it just seems like an innocuous Sunday night after a loss frustration, guys now know that people are questioning that. The question came up in Doug Peterson's Zoom teleconference earlier today. So it's out there now. At least one Jaguar thinks that the other Jaguars aren't playing as well, aren't playing all the way through. So now it's a storyline and one that they'll have to address and one that they'll have to, as John just said, prove.
Let's jump ahead. I do want to give some credit where credit is due. Evan Engram back in his first game since dealing with his hamstring injury, I think makes a play that we have not seen him make in terms of the fumble that was it at that point. If you thought they were going to come out in the third quarter with anything, that kind of sealed the deal. The Bears went down and got a touchdown after that. But they went back to him several times after that. He ended up with over 100 yards. And that is what I'm talking about when I say I need to see a resilience in somebody. Brian, you use that word quite frequently,
Yep.
But to say completely uncharacteristic of what we've seen of Evan in Jacksonville for him to fumble, but then to say, give me the ball. I want the ball back.
Yeah.
And there's not enough of that on this team, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of, when I make a play, I want to kind of sit and wallow in it in the sense of instead of going back out and saying, give me the ball back, I'm going to make up for what happened, and that's not going to happen again.
He is the classic case of a guy who hates losing more than he loves winning, right?
And you need it.
And you need more guys like that who are driven to get back to the next play to prove that that's who they are and what they're capable of. You know, I thought on the next offensive series, the Jags were resilient. They went down the field, and Trevor found Gabe Davis, who caught it that time, and they were right back in there. And then you had the 12-man on the field penalty, and the resilience washed away.
Yeah, that fumble, much like Travis's in the first game, sometimes you fumble. It didn't look to me like Evan was being careless. He was in a funny spot to get hit, and the guy hit the ball out. Evan was trying to get his hand over. So sometimes, if you handle the ball enough in the NFL, you're going to fumble. Mm-hmm. And I think he is resilient. I don't think that play is as indicative of what's going on as other plays. I thought that was not excusable because you can't fumble, but an understandable mistake within a myriad of other things that weren't as understandable.
He's one of their most important players, and he had a big day with a big mistake. How he responds on the practice field this week, how he acts, how he prepares for the Patriots will be a great example to the rest of his teammates about how you have to be a pro.
I agree, and I said the loss of him the last couple of weeks, even more so than on the field, has been his leadership. I've noticed the last couple of games he was traveling with the team. He's very involved, obviously, with Brenton Strange in terms of preparation, and that is a factor that's missing. You need more than one of Evan Engram. You need several on your roster, and hopefully that's something that can spread as this goes along. Let's take one more look at that drive we talked about with the 3 penalties where the Bears were just somehow going to find a way into the end zone after the Jaguars couldn't get off the field on those third downs. For me, that's, 12 men on the field, obviously that's coaching substitutions, issues there, but then just how do you keep the defense together when you see one group excelling and another group isn't able to kind of even help them out in those senses because of the penalty situation?
Yeah.
Anybody got an answer?
Yeah,
Anybody?
How you keep them together, you just
do.
keep playing hard and you keep saying to do your job. I mean, there's not I'm not sure there's a magic formula for keeping them together. I'm not sure they're not together. I think they're just making these mistakes at like really, really important times. And sometimes mistakes, not necessarily Ronald Darby specifically here, but sometimes mistakes is when you're getting beat. So sometimes you hold when you have to hold to make the play not happen. So very unfortunate, and as I said earlier, a very indicative drive of the season, because you had multiple opportunities to climb out of this, and you couldn't on that drive.
Even when Tyson Campbell comes back, you still have a secondary that is going to have some weak spots. The only way for the Jaguars to overcome the weak spots is for that defense to do what John has said all season they have to do. They've got to dominate up front, right? You've got guys who are capable, especially on the outside. You saw yesterday what Josh and what Trayvon did on that one drive where they needed it, right? They gave him 2 sacks in 3 plays. The other guys up front, they've got to get more out of Eric Armstead. But the front is going to determine how good this defense is going to be the rest of the way. Either they play closer to their potential, and this defense does, or they don't, and this defense doesn't.
All right, stay with us here. We're going to have some hot takes for you coming up after the break here on Jags A.M.
One of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
At Publix, you can tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds. This week at Publix, save $10 with a digital coupon when you spend $40 on select P&G products. Tackle everything from pregame prep with brands like Crest, Head & Shoulders, and Old Spice to postgame cleanup with brands like Bounty, Dawn, Tide, and Febreze. Clip your digital coupon now. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Move the freight, move the freight. Magellan Transport voted the coolest office space in Jacksonville. You can apply online at MagellanLogistics.com. Welcome back into Jags A.M. this morning. We're going to give you our Firehouse Subs Fire hot takes. I don't know how hot they're all going to be, but Brian, what's your hot take for us today?
Listen, everything coming out of my mouth today, unfortunately, is hot because I'd had enough. So, old school tactics, right? There's not a lot you can do that truly is old school anymore. The collective bargaining agreement restricts so much about how many days you can practice in pads, and but there's one thing, and Doug Peterson was asked the week of the Colts game, about Tom Coughlin, who went into the pride of the Jaguars that week, and his style of coaching. And the answer really struck me, John, because Doug said that he was coached by guys who employed Tom Coughlin's methods. But he didn't think you could still use those methods anymore. And one of the things that he cited that day was that you couldn't get into a meeting room and put the plays up on the board and call guys out in front of their teammates. Well, that's the old school tactic I think needs to happen this week. For the reasons that you talked about for Andre Sisco, who was talking earlier, these younger players can't be babied through this process. The hard truth of it is it's a tough game for tough men, and this is not a tough team right now. Nobody needs to be told that. We can see that. You want a tougher team? Hey, listen, call it out, right? You missed here. What are we doing over here? Why aren't we here? The accountability word is one that is tossed around all the time. But accountability doesn't exist unless you actually hold someone accountable. And the only way you're going to do that is be tough with these guys. And so I would like to see old school tactics. I would like to see that edge return to this football team. Tough game for tough men. Be tough on them.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. And it would be nice if you could do that. I don't know if they feel like they can. And mine sort of reflects that. I'm not sure there is anything to do. And so not much to say, a whole lot of work to do, and I wonder how you do it at 1-5. And it's I wish I had a better answer than that, but 6 games in, there don't seem to be any answers. But there's a lot of work, and I'm not sure that it's any one particular area. It's why I said much to do. It's everywhere. It was offensive line yesterday. It was defensive lines, receivers not catching balls. I like Brian's answer better. I hope they can do that. I hope they can get tough with these guys, and I hope you can have accountability in this league. What does that mean? You're going to cut 8 guys. That's what fans always want.
No, can't do that.
So there has to be somewhere to hold accountable. Somewhere, a lot to do has a lot to do with that. I'm more hopeful, or I wish I was more hopeful that they could get it done. After 5 games of sort of seeing this usually be the pattern, I kind of wonder. I hope they prove us wrong.
Brian, I'm a little bit differing from your perspective because I think you're still mad. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. As the parental part of you is how I kind of look at this.
My disappointment just manifests itself different than you.
Sure. I'm a little disappointed because, to be honest, the way teams are constructed, the way this team is constructed, you expect this team to win. This is not a team of the past where you're like, oh, the Jaguars are being the Jaguars. Everyone knows I came from New England. I came from a fan base in Boston. People talk about Philly. People talk about New York. There are high expectations at all times. There are not excuses. I think the Jaguars fan base is now at that point. Hey, we heard this is the best team ever assembled. We have our quarterback. We have a coach that's won a Super Bowl. We have expectations for this team. It's not okay to be 1-5 at this point in the season. And when you talk about accountability, sometimes it comes from the outside the building. If your fan base isn't accepting of that, then you need to be able to respond. I don't know what that's going to look like exactly for this team. Obviously, we're still early in the season, but you're going to have to find a way to respond to this because this is not acceptable anymore. This is not something that is going to be tolerated, I think, by the fan base at all whatsoever. And I think that's a good place to be if you want to see change within this organization, because what is going on right now is not okay.
Well, what's gone on the last couple of weeks, right, hasn't worked. So let's be demanding.
Change is good. Let's demand. All right, stay with us here. We'll talk to you about what's going on this week, what we have going on in the UK, and what you're going to see before the game on Sunday.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year 1 in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year 1 and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs, cheering on the Jags from the Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit Jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
Crosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Calling all loyal Jags fans and loyal gate customers, football is back. And you and 3 friends could win a chance to meet Trevor Lawrence. Entering is easy. Just buy any 5 28-ounce Gatorade or Gatorade Zero products at Gate with your MyGate Rewards app, and you'll be automatically entered. Not a MyGate Rewards member? Download the app and sign up today. See store for details. Alternate entry available at GatoradePromos.com/TLAW.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans.
Sense of urgency, must win. We know we have the trust in everybody in here, but the sense of urgency needs to pick up the passion, the love. The reason why we do the things that we do need to pick up a little bit more, and it starts Tuesday. Once we get back to practice and focus on the Patriots.
Time to focus on the Patriots. That's next game up, and today is the player day off this week, so they're going to be Tuesday through Sunday, football. They're all in the same building, and they're going to see each other every day. Brian, I would argue that's the best case scenario for them right now because I don't want them to check out. I want them to lock in.
No argument here. I mean, this is the fortunate part of the circumstance is that they are together for the rest of the week, and there's probably going to be some very frank conversations. It might not have the edge that I would like to hear, right? But they can't avoid what the tape is going to show them. And so hopefully there's some very difficult conversations that go on, and it sparks a change in the outcome on Sunday, John.
Yeah, they're kicking off in Wembley whether they want to or not, so you may as well get prepared. And it galvanized the team last year when they were here. They won the first game, then they won the second, and they went on a winning streak. That's the hope. And I get that people who are watching this sort of laugh at that kind of hope, but that's what they have right now. So we'll see what the week brings.
Time to play with some passion, play with some pride. I know everybody at home is frustrated. We are frustrated too. Sit with it this Monday. We're going to turn the page. We'll be back with you for Jags A.M. on Wednesday and Thursday here in the UK as we talk Patriots and what they need to do to get a win next week.